Okay, now we are in Pause and Practice 4-2, which is on page 202. The first thing you're supposed to do is open your Pause and Practice 4-1 workbook, which I have done here, and then you have to enable editing. So you see I have the security warning. External data connections have been disabled. Click Enable Content, and that allows me to continue to work on it. Alright, so now I'm going to save it as my initials, PP 4-2. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Here's 4-2. Alright, so the first thing we're going to do is delete column B. So click on column B and delete it. You can't do that to a merged cell. Okay, so let's see. B. Over here, delete sheet columns. There. So column B has gone away with the email addresses, and now we have a new column B, which is the title. Okay, so now we're going to select cells A2 to E2 and clear the formulas. So that will be here in editing, clear the formats, I'm sorry, clear formats. Alright, so now they're just plain Calibri 11 text. Now we're going to rename the sheet tab Sales Quota Data. So here it says Sales Quota Text Import. So click on that and click Rename and change it to Sales Quota Data. So I'm just going to click there, delete Sales Quota Data. Alright, why don't you pause the video now and do those steps. So steps 1 through 5, and then you can come back. Okay, so now we're back, and we're going to go on to step 6, which is on page 203, format the data as an Excel table. So we're going to select cells A2 to E26. Here we are. Click the Format as Table button, which is in the Home tab, Styles group, Styles, Format as Table, and then we're going to select Table Style Medium 27 from the Style Gallery. This is the Style Gallery. You can see this first one is light, and we have medium, and we have dark. So we want medium 27. Let's see. Is this it? No, but close. Is this it? Table Style Medium 27. Click on it. Alright, now it says Format as Table. Where is the data for your table? And make sure that you have, so it has the cell references here as absolute values, and then it has My Table has headers, and you want to make sure that is checked so that it doesn't include these headers as part of the data. So click OK. Your selection overlaps one or more external data ranges. Do you want to convert the selection to a table and remove all external connections? And it says click yes in the message box about external connections. So we click yes. Alright, so here we are. Now we're going to add a total row to the table. So click any cell in the table, and that opens up the Table Tools Design tab, and we're going to click to place a check mark for total row in the Table Tools Design tab, Table Style Options group. Table Style Options. So we want it to have a total row now. Okay. And then we're going to click cell D27, D27 down here, and choose Sum from the drop-down list. And right over here is where you find the drop-down list. I want Sum. It automatically added all of these numbers in that column. All right, now we want to remove duplicate rows in a table. All right, before we do that, why don't you pause the video and go ahead and do the steps that I just covered. All right, now we are ready to go on to step 8, remove duplicate rows in a table. So click a cell in the table, and up here on the Table Tools Design tab, in the Tools group, here, remove duplicates. That opens up a dialog box, and we want to click on Unselect All to remove all the check marks, and then click Name right here to place a check mark. And when you're doing one of these, if you know that there's duplicate data in some of the columns, you can speed up the search by choosing only that column. So that's why we chose just name. Okay. 1 duplicate value found and removed. 23 unique values remain. Click OK on that. All right. So go ahead and pause the video and do that step. All right, now we are going to create a pivot table. We're going to click in cell A3, and click the Recommended Pivot Tables button on the Insert tab Tables group. Insert, Tables, Recommended Pivot Tables. And we want to find the sum of sales goal by MN location. So let's see. Sum of sales goal by MN location. So it's that one. Sales goal by MM location, and click OK. And it creates a new worksheet for us. It's named Sheet 1, and we're going to change the name of the sheet tab to Pivot Table. So right click and rename Pivot Table. Alright, so go ahead and pause the video and go ahead and create your pivot table sheet. Before we go any further with the pivot table, I want to tell you what a pivot table is. It's a separate worksheet in which you can sort large amounts of data for analysis. They are interactive because you can rearrange or pivot parts of the report for analysis by clicking or dragging to look at the data from a different perspective. So what we're going to be doing now is deciding which data we're going to be analyzing. We're not really analyzing it, but that's what the exercise is. So we're on number 10 on page 203, and we're going to add a report filter in a pivot table. So we're going to click a cell in the pivot table to open the pivot table fields pane. So that's already open because it opens automatically when you create the pivot table tab. And we're going to drag the MN location, the Minnesota location field, from the rows group down here to the filters group, which is here. So we're just going to take that and drag it up. Wait for the 4-sided arrows and then drag it up. Alright, so now it's in the filters location. And then we're going to click the filter arrow in cell B1, click that, and it brings up all the different locations, all the Minnesota locations. And we're going to place a check mark where it says select multiple items, but we're going to remove the check marks for Baudette and Breezy Point. So Baudette and Breezy Point. So that leaves just Cass Lake and Walker. Click OK. So now it only gives us those locations. So now we're going to format the data in a pivot table. So we're going to right click any cell in column B. So here's column B, right click, and we're going to choose the value field settings. So let's see, that is value field settings. Click that. Click number format. So number format down here. and set currency format with no decimal places. All right, so here we go. Currency, no decimal places. So instead of 2, we click the down arrow to bring it down to 0 and click OK. OK again. All right, so now this is what our values look like. And that's it for this lesson. So you can go ahead and save and close your workbook, and then come get your little prize from me for watching the entire video. Don't tell anybody else, because it wouldn't be fair if they got a prize just because you told them to come see me, not because they heard me say it on the video.